with updates on returns to WWE and more. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. When asked how he would like to celebrate New Day's 10-year anniversary, Xavier Woods told My Love Letter to Wrestling, "I feel like the 10-year anniversary for New Day, my magic wand wish would be we get to go to Tokyo for a week, spend time in Tokyo arcades for a full week hanging out. As much as we can get, especially if we can work at other places now. I'm trying to wrestle everybody. There are so many names on the list. It feels weird to start anywhere because I want to start everywhere. If we could legit branch out and wrestle other teams, obviously the Young Bucks. We'd love a six-man with the Elite. There are so many people. I can't name them." In some unfortunate news, it appears that Madison Rayne suffered an injury during a Ring of Honor taping, with AEW President Tony Khan saying this regarding it on the AEW NJPW Forbidden Door media call. "Madison Rayne and Sarah Stock are both very involved in the coaching and producing of matches. I have a lot of people who come in and make suggestions and bring ideas. Sarah has added a lot since she's been with us, and Madison has been here a bit longer. She had been out of wrestling with an injury. She's still backstage with us, dealing with a foot injury she had in a match a couple of months ago. Excited to get her back in the ring at some point. She is tremendously useful backstage. It's great to get their perspective on the women's division." Asked if he has any interest in purchasing Bellator MMA, Tony Khan said during that same media call, "I was surprised to see that report. I haven't had any conversations with him about that. I don't know what that was about. My father hasn't had any conversations with them either. I don't even know who owns the promotion. Is Scott Coker the owner? The president? I'm not sure. I'm familiar with Bellator. I'm familiar with MMA. I've never worked professionally in the scope other than having some stars from UFC appear at times in AEW. I saw the report and there's really nothing to that. I'm not sure where that rumor got started. I've honestly never had any talks, and my father has never had any talks about buying Bellator, so I was surprised to see that. Was that someone Ariel Helwani reported? It would not be the first inaccurate thing Ariel Helwani has reported. That is completely inaccurate, but that's Ariel Helwani for you." Explaining how Logan Paul got to be a part of the Money in the Bank ladder match, PW Insider revealed that we've gotten a lot of emails from elites asking for insight into the Money in the Bank winners and whether Logan Paul has changed any of those plans. We are told that the plan all along was for Paul to be featured in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and there were no creative changes. We haven't heard any 100% definitive plans for the men's Money in the Bank winner, although there are certainly people pushing for it to be the LA Knight breakthrough moment. On his Keeping It 100 podcast, Conan spoke of the difficulties of working with AEW star Bandido, saying he had the very bad habit, which I find very unprofessional. He doesn't answer the phone. A lot of these wrestlers, they get to the United States, get a big head, and they start charging with their egos. What happens if AEW, if they cut you or you get injured? I'm not going to forget. When it comes to future plans for Ronda Rousey in WWE, it was said by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there are plans for more major stars to work NXT like Rollins did this week. One name that was at least talked about was Rousey, or perhaps even having Rousey and Baszler defend the women's tag titles there. But the goal was to use the main roster stars to increase the ratings, and the Rollins experiment was a huge success. So when something works in wrestling, the idea is that you usually follow up on it. Despite only recently holding a draft in WWE, the brand split looks to be done with, as Ringside News writes that, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported that the brand split is seemingly over with little to no explanation. This didn't come as a surprise to any fan. Touching on the limited pro wrestling schedule of Bryan Danielson in AEW recently, it was revealed that Fightful Select has learned that Bryan Danielson has been banged up of late, and there were some spots limited in his AEW Double or Nothing 2023 Anarchy in the Arena match as a result. Prior to that match, Danielson hadn't worked since the 60-minute Iron Man main event for the world title at AEW Revolution in March. Danielson has instead worked commentary for Blackpool Combat Club matches, while largely avoiding contact in the many brawls that have happened during that time. Danielson has also been heavily involved in creative in the first several weeks of AEW Collision. Taking to Twitter, Fuego Del Sol would confirm that he has left AEW. Here's the video.
Hello world. As of July 1st, my time with All Elite Wrestling will have come to an end, and I will officially become a free agent. However, I'm proud to say that I've been cleared to return to the ring from injury, and I am now accepting bookings any and everywhere. First and foremost, though, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to AEW, everybody that worked in the back, the staff, the crew. My journey to get to AEW was very unique, and I couldn't have done it without the support of so many people behind the scenes. So thank you to all the people that worked so hard on putting on that show, and to the incredible roster that I learned so much from. I have truly made some genuine friendships that I know will last forever. But most importantly, I want to thank the fans, because without you, this scrawny kid in a mask would have never made it from KBW all the way to AEW. I will always look back fondly and cherish the night I got signed and how genuine that moment was. But even though this chapter is coming to a close, this is just the beginning for Fuego Del Sol. Because I am extremely passionate and damn near obsessed with creating great moments, great matches, and memories that will last a lifetime. And at 27 years old, I'm just getting started. I've barely scratched the surface on showing the world just how damn good Fuego Del Sol is. And I am quite literally now the hottest free agent on the market. So now grind season begins, and it's time to set the wrestling world on fire. And if you doubt me or you don't believe me, just wait till you see what I do next.
Touching on the situation with Drew McIntyre, who has been absent and is expected to see his contract with WWE expire by next year, the Wrestling Observer newsletter said McIntyre may be back shortly. As noted, they were hopeful of getting him to return for the July 1st pay-per-view show. Nothing is official at press time. Past they are discussing dates for a return, but creative was not finalized at press time. He represented WWE this past week at the Special Olympics in Berlin, Germany. He has been a global ambassador for the Special Olympics since 2021. PW Insider would add that WWE sources indicate there are many of the company who believe Drew McIntyre will be back in the mix by the UK tour and Money in the Bank. Giving details on changes made by Vince McMahon to Monday Night Raw this week, Fightful said that the opening segment of WWE Raw changed Monday, and we've learned more about what was planned. Tommaso Ciampa returned on WWE on Monday night, defeating The Miz, but he was actually supposed to answer the open challenge of Seth Rollins. The match between Rollins and Ciampa was set to get a ton of time, but was changed multiple times over the weekend prior and a few hours before the show. Internally, the match was listed as to be announced versus Seth Rollins, but was changed to have Rollins attacked and Ciampa to face The Miz. We're told that the move was a Vince McMahon move, and all of those originally planned for the match wanted the match to go through as planned. We haven't heard that it was so Ciampa wouldn't lose his first match back, as there was a plan in order that would have been a non-finish. There has been an internal plan to reunite Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and Gargano was backstage, but he wasn't planned for the show by the time the night of rolled around. It would be added by Sean Ross Sapp that I've heard a lot of frustration surrounding this particular move as outlined in the story. With it looking as though Carlito will be heading back to WWE in the near future, Ringside News wrote that, as previously reported, Carlito was rumored to have signed a contract with WWE as he pulled out of an upcoming indie show. In fact, it was said that Carlito told even more promoters that he signed with WWE. According to a report by PW Insider, WWE is currently targeting the July 7th SmackDown from Madison Square Garden in New York City as the venue for Carlito's official return to the company. Discussing the situation involving CM Punk and the Elite being on separate shows in AEW, the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted, one top name noted to us that they went home after the show on Wednesday in a bad mood, and even with the key people kept apart and not on the same shows, described the fear of this being a ticking time bomb that will not have a happy ending. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.